Okay, so today I will be analysing the short story Dr. Heidegger's Experiment by Nathaniel Hawthorne. So, first, let's talk a little bit about the background. It was written in 1837, so this was a time where people were very religious and they had a strong belief in the supernatural. That's why many people viewed experimentation as being connected to the devil. So, the deeper meaning of the story. Mankind is innately prone to flaw and sin. Even if we are provided with a second opportunity to redeem ourselves, we will continue to make the same mistakes. And this is something that is seen in the four guests. They are given the opportunity to have a second chance when they drink from the fountain of youth, but we see that they commit the same mistakes and they resort back to their sinful behaviors. So the themes in the short story. First of all, we have the theme of human nature is innately prone to flaw and sin, as seen in the deeper meaning. The superficial hypothesis and the superficial purpose of the experiment seems to be to test the effects of the water from the fountain of youth. But deep down, the true hypothesis that Dr. Heidegger is testing is whether age begets wisdom, and if given a second chance, would humans still commit the same mistakes? And we see that they do, and this is something to be true as seen in the guests. Dr. Heidegger claims that he would never stoop to bathe his lips if water from the fountain of youth gushed at his very doorstep. But we see that despite his pride and his thoughts of himself as being superior to his guests in every way, we see that he in fact doesn't learn from his mistakes. This is seen through the fact that he carries on experimenting on people despite the harmful consequences, and we will discuss this later on. Yeah, as I said, he uses others in his experiments despite the risks, and this cost him his fiance's life even, and he still hasn't learned. And then we also have the theme of appearance versus reality. We are led to question whether there really is a fountain of youth at all, and the guests are simply seeing what they want to see in the mirror. And that it's just showing them what they want to see. And later on, what we discover is that the mirror is showing just a bunch of old people dancing around, acting as though they are youthful. So it is quite ambiguous. We're not sure if this water really has rejuvenescent effects. But what we do know for certain is that the mirror that reflects back the image of old people dancing around, pretending to be a bunch of youngsters, is reflecting their true personalities, the true nature of humans. The style of writing. Okay, so we have character symbolism. First of all, Medborn, he symbolizes greed. He is a man who wants to get rich quickly, and he takes foolhardy chances with his money. So that he's just a representation of one of the sins, which is greed. And then we have Colonel Killigrew, who represents lust. He is said to have wasted his best years in the pursuit of sinful pleasures early on in the short story. I think it's the first page. As soon as he appears youthful again, he eyes the buxom figure of Widow Wycherley. So straight away, we see that these people do not learn from their past mistakes. And then we have Gascoigne, who represents hypocrisy. He is a ruined politician who has achieved an evil reputation. Upon achieving youth, he becomes to speak boisterously about patriotism and human freedom. But he is heard muttering some perilous stuff or other. So again, we see he is a hypocrite because he will say what people want him to hear, but behind this this show, this mask, he will go on to do something else, and he has different thoughts to what he lets on. And then we have Widow Wycherley, who is a symbol for vanity. Since her title is Widow Wycherley, she must have been married, and we get the sense that she had numerous affairs, as she had relationships with each of the three men, Medbourne, Killigrew, and Gascoigne. When the men begin to fight over her and physically begin to pull at her, she only responds by blushing, panting, struggling, chiding, and laughing. So she wants the attention of the men to prove to herself that she is beautiful and to relish in that beauty. And then we have Heidegger himself, who represents pride. It is clear that in his arrogance, he believed too strongly in his scientific abilities, which cost him the life of many patients and even of his late fiancée. Then we have the bronze bust of Hippocrates. Hippocrates is the father of modern medicine. Doctors today must take the Hippocratic oath. He based his medical work on the idea that the physician should do no harm to his patients, a fact that Heidegger has clearly forgotten. Since the bust is placed atop a case, it looks down on Dr. Heidegger, possibly as a symbol of judgment on Heidegger's betrayal of this credo. And then we have the mirror, which reveals the truth, and as we see, it shows a bunch of old people dancing around pretending to be youthful, and it shows their true personalities. And then it's also said to hold the souls of Dr. Heidegger's dead patients, but as we read further on in the short story, we get the sense that these dead patients are actually his victims, the victims of his experiments. And then we have the Black Book of Magic, which, because a book represents knowledge, the fact that this is a book of magic represents forbidden knowledge. When dusted by the chambermaid, the bust of Hippocrates says, "Forbear." So this indicates that the knowledge contained within this book should be restrained from or resisted. And this reflects Hawthorne's views, which is that although science, progression, and discovery are all positive, there is certain knowledge that is beyond humanity and should stay that way. Knowledge gives power, and given humanity's innately evil tendencies, our power must be limited. So yes, certain knowledge should be beyond humanity. And that's it. Thank you for watching.